Fleetwood, Fisherman's Wharf. As you see, it's Tram Sunday, also known as Totally Tropical Weekend. And, nice beautiful tram over there, one of the boat trams, a red and cream one. Anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to explore the town and take a look at some of the vintage vehicles. Let's look at these. There's some beautiful models on here. Yeah. So, yeah.
The handle looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah. 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 There's Blackpool Transport.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that looks like a London Feltham tram.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Blackpool in the snow. It's one of the rare events where you see Blackpool in the snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appropriate for January and February months.
Yeah. 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 Was it £15?
Yeah, 15.
But yeah. Look. You think I should treat myself?
Yeah.
Go on. Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
I think I've got
I want to say, before we go any further, I'd like to thank the sound engineers and his team. They deserve a massive big round of applause, because without them guys, we'd be struggling, and they've done it all day, and we've done it out. We really do appreciate what we're doing. Mornings up there on top from now getting interviewed by Radio Lancashire.
This particular tram car here,
That's old, isn't it?
that one's in America.
Was it?
We've got the karaoke tunes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So let's get the captain there.
I think there's 3 of these boat trams in America.
Yeah.
Yep, there's 2 in San Francisco.
Yeah, is that?
And there's one other that's at a trolley
that
park there.
Blue one.
Blue tram. Blue. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. And Blackpool Brush Rail Car. Yeah, no, it's a Well, and here we are at the Faroes Lighthouse, and this is where the trams are on static. Yeah, yeah. You notice the pantographs have been collapsed. Yeah, because that's to stop the overload. Yeah. We don't want that.
No.
No. Oh yeah. Oh, we don't want that kind of thing happening. It looks. Yep. This is the Fisherman Friends fishing trolley. It looks like we can actually go on it.
All right.
Yeah. So let's have a look, because yeah, they've got the door on one side. Oh, excuse me. Well, let's take a look inside, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hang on.
Pause. Pause it while you're getting it.
Here we are in the interior of the tram. Yeah. Looks like so the kids are enjoying themselves. Oh yeah. Oh look, you could have a picture taken of the controls.
You can. Look, come in.
Check. Oh, I must say it's the second time we've actually been inside this, but never actually rolled it. So, yeah, you can get.
Filming?
Yep. We're filming.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what it's like in this couch, shall we? Oh, how do you do that? Oh, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's how we do it. And of
Whoa.
course,
Yeah.
the driver would sit here, and we're doing this.
You look good in the tram. I know, yeah, it's good.
I'm in my element here. Of course, the thing is, with it being double-ended, they can drive it back to the depot like this. So, yeah. Because this was built from a brush rail coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, many years ago. You can see.
How old is this, Tom?
Well, brush rail coaches were built in 1937.
Yeah.
It went into service in 1938. So this tram dates back to 1937, 38. And it was rebuilt like this. Yeah. And obviously it's directional.
Let's just pause it and then that.
Come to balloon tram, which is 70.
Yep.
And this one is one of the early modified balloons of the 1990s.
Is it?
Yep, because we was on it last week.
Oh, right, yeah, that's it.
Yep, some more memorabilia
Yeah.
of trams.
Anything new on it?
Yeah, there's, you can see, there's a corgi double-decker. Yep,
Only it's cute.
that's cute. Yeah. Might have had it on one tram to collection.
Yeah,
Maybe another time.
Another time.
Yeah. God, it's very cost a fortune buying all these trams, wasn't it? So, but yeah. I mean, the interior of this one has like got bottom bus. You can go in. Yeah. Just yeah, doing a bit of vlogging.
Upstairs, we can go on that side. Have you got one? We've got a little bag.
Yeah. Let's take a look inside. Wow. Of course, this one's got modern bus seats in. This one's got modern bus seats in.
It has, isn't it?
Yeah. Good, look out.
Wait, we was on this, weren't we?
We was on this, yeah. Remember, we was going to sit here, but then we decided.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Look how much room the driver's got in there.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Let's have a look upstairs. Sure.
You go first, you're not filming my ball.
Let's have a look upstairs.
Yeah.
Yep. Check.
Do you want me to hold the camera?
Do you want to hold camera?
We went that way.
One of our four-legged friends is jumping on ropes. No.
Just like ladies, aren't they? Is she? Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you something, being upstairs in this one, there's a real sweat drop.
Oh, yeah. I don't think we're going upstairs in this one. Oh, God, it's warm. Oh, my God. I can stand sitting.
Oh, you want to go that way? Right, Mummy will go that way. Daddy will go this. This is where the
Will I help out with the old trams?
Oh, yeah.
I don't actually
You go down there,
drive them
and I'll
or
go
even
down this one.
conduct them.
Okay?
I'm too
I'll
old.
see you down there.
Oh, you do, yeah.
But I have a strong interest in them and I can tell you plenty about them.
Yeah, of course we're just vlogging for a YouTube channel.
Yeah, oh yeah, well you'll find me on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
The key things is, these old heritage trams have always served a dual purpose,
Yeah.
which was A, to move people from A to B,
Yeah.
but particularly from the word go, people use them just to go for the ride.
Yeah.
We are a seaside resort. You come here on a lovely day, how nice to ride an open top one in particular,
Oh, yeah.
just for the ride.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So you wouldn't do that, you can't do it in fact with the new trams.
No.
No, it's
So
true.
the heritage trams have a big role to fill actually in the tourism offering, right? And this is very important And so it's very important to quite a few of us that we do retain the old trams, and to do that we also need to make sure that the old depot at Rigby Road is kept in some way to be able to accommodate a decent number of the old trams.
I always remember the first tram I ever rode at Blackpool when I was, little boy, I was with my nan and mum when we stayed for a week in Blackpool. It was an Omo tram. Now, of course, before I rode the tram, I was wondering what they were, because where I came from, no one else had trams. It was like, to me, they were like these strange buses with odd wheels. So, but now, of course, all those they're not buses, they're trams. And seeing different shapes and sizes, and then, as I was saying, that particular week in Blackpool, my folks were like debating, should we go on tram?
But the big thing about the trams is, in most towns and cities, they were done away with because of the ever-increasing amount of private car ownership. So when the trams first started, they didn't have that problem to deal with. But come the 1950s, those towns and cities that still had them, the original tramways were constructed in the middle of the road. So, but the passengers are waiting on the pavement. So you had a big gap between where the tram was and where you were waiting. Meanwhile, cars or other vehicles are trying to get up the inside of the tram, where you're trying to walk out to get on the tram. So that was the killer.
That was always a bit hazardous.
That was very hazardous.
They had this kind of thing in Fleetwood before they modernised the tramway.
Well, the fortunate bit, in a way, really, is that the Blackpool tramway, and why it survived, was the main route has always been separated from the traffic. So it has the promenade, and then when it gets down here, it's still the segregated stuff until you hit the main road here in the town centre. So the option was either you stop the trams at the far end of Fleetwood, or you still allow them to come down the main road and go around the loop here. And in the end, it's been decided that we would just carry on down there, go around the loop.
I mean, it's. I look at the early photographs showing when they extended the promenade towards the sea, and then I think it was about 1912 or something like when they moved the tramway.
Yeah, probably a little bit earlier than that. So much of this stuff is historical information is on the internet now, so it's great. So you start not actually remembering in quite so fine detail because you can just look it up quite readily. But no, yes, you're quite right. The very first trams were actually more in the roadway, and they were moved over. But progressively, the promenade itself was expanded and whatever.
Now, of course, the first examples of a one-man operated tram was built on a Rush rail coach.
It was indeed,
Of course, it proved to be a bit of a disaster, isn't it?
Well, it wasn't quite as successful as they wanted, but what they did when they built the ones that became the Omo trams, as we call them, they weren't new trams at all. They were just slightly reconfigured old rail coaches, rather like the brush cars you look at. But what happened was the cabs on either end were extended, and the weight of the controls and everything eventually started creating sort of like bananas. And in fact, one or two of them actually ended up with broken chassis. So they weren't overly successful, but they did the job at the time, allegedly, particularly in the winter, in one-man operation. Because until the 1960s, of course, Blackpool was hugely popular with masses of people. Come the easy flights off to Italy and Spain for your holidays, it took a big hit, as did all seaside resorts, So one-man operation did need to come in some way, at least for the winter months.
Of course, at least 3 of the old ones still survive in some shop. I know there's one tram car number 8.
Yeah, there's number 8 in our depot.
There's one that's been turned into a cafe somewhere.
There was one that was made into a cafe. It was down in Reading or somewhere like that. I'm not so sure that still exists actually, but nevertheless, often trams were taken away with other purposes. I mean, when we had the situation when the older trams effectively came to the end of their normal service life, and we were just changing over to the new trams, the managing director at the time was quite happy to get rid of as many of the old trams as he could, because he didn't really like the old trams. And so if you'd had about 1,500 quid, you could have bought a working double decker. right? But then comes the realisation, what are you actually going to do with this thing? Because one tram on its own somewhere is not going to be a big draw. So where are you going to get any money? And if you can't run it somewhere, you're not going to be able to make any money on it. So that realisation eventually kicks in. And some of the trams that we have in the depot now have actually been given back to us because people realise, well, I can't do anything with this really. Okay, I've saved it. So under our new managing director, which is a bit more pro the older trams, that has happened. There are some in the depot that don't belong to Blackpool Transport.
There was a German tram that was in
The German tram was just here. It was somewhere for it to be stabled short-term wise from Christ's Tramway Museum, who were reconfiguring some buildings or other there, and it was here just for storage. But it's now gone back to Christ. So the only thing we have at the moment is the pantograph off the top is taken away.
We're going there on Tuesday.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for a 4-day all day.
Yeah, so
We've never been before. We wanted to go last year, but
so what we've had a bad fault last year, so
that stopped it.
But
you need to just check that it's all properly operational.
yeah, we'll check the website.
so it looks like a good day out. I mean, I think this week for us has been real tram week. I mean, we came down one of the flexities because it was quicker. I thought,
Yeah, we
Well, they
missed
say
it.
they're quicker. If you went back to the 1950s timetables, you'd find there's very, very little difference. Just over the years, the track wasn't kept in tip-top condition, and the timetables were gradually lengthened. So getting from, say, Northfield to Fleetwood hasn't really changed much at all.
So it's still.
But I mean, they have benefits. You know, one of the main drivers of having those new trams is, of course, it was being pushed by oncoming legal requirements about how people can get on trams, so that people in wheelchairs, people with trams, older people didn't have to climb stairs, all that sort of thing was the key thing which forced having the new trams.
So it's so the new trams have benefited everyone really. I mean, it's still.
They have in quite a few ways, but they are lacking in some ways. So people don't find the new ones as interesting to look at because the old ones have lots of shapes and sizes and things. You don't have the open top ones. That's a big difference. And also the new trams are not very good at all at going around the illuminations because they've got darkened windows.
Where we went some we couldn't see, could we not?
We went some last year on Windsor because we missed the Western trip because they'd already gone out, and it was going back to the depots. And so we'll on the flex and try.
We couldn't see
anything.
anything.
Like this, like peering from the windows.
No, they're atrocious for that.
Didn't see much, did we?
Yeah, but we still had a good night that night, despite the weather. It
was terrible.
But I think Blackpool's good in any weather from me.
Well, the thing about Blackpool is it's had a lot of stick through the media, certainly in the last 20 years, about stag and hen parties and all that stuff. But you only need the sun, like today, and people swarming to Blackpool.
The
sun
so
is
busy.
the most critical part of how many people come to Blackpool.
I noticed.
I mean, we saw the beach today, and it was like, and I haven't seen us busy in a long time like that.
No.
I mean,
well, what's happened in more recent years is when we built those big steps, wide steps, called Spanish steps, people sit on those steps rather than go on the beach now. So you don't see as many people physically on the beach as you used to, even though there might be a lot of people there.
It's like, well, earlier today we saw people taking the donkeys back.
You still get some of that, but it's not like shoulder to shoulder on the beach.
No, not like the old photos of
so many people sat on
so many people.
I mean, Blackpool's and Blackpool's are one of the reasons I keep coming back is always the trams that always interest me. And
Gary's got his own group as well. Trams of Blackpool and the World Over. He's got over 1,500 members now.
Our old trams are a big draw.
They are,
But we have to convince the powers that be that sign off big
I
money
know.
that we need to hang on to them.
Well, we've bought something from the
way,
heritage, haven't we?
I just bought a London Feltham tram, which is no one's in my collection. But in that collection at home I've got 3 balloon trams, which is one's a model of 175, which is a pantograph, a 60s tram with split screen of 60s, 50s with Empire Bing on the side, and a wartime livered tram. So it's Well, the first one I bought in that collection was a Mystique brush rail coach. I thought, couldn't find one with the green cream at the time, but I thought Mystique. I thought, well, let's go with this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, starting in really in the 70s, I mean, a lot of the brush cars, the single deck brush cars, were used as advert trams.
Yeah.
So my personal favourites were particularly the Kodak tram. That looked great in yellow with different things advertising film and the tapes. I think that was a good one. On the double deckers, there was a fairly early one, Little Italy was quite a nice one.
One of my favourite all advertised tram was the post office one, which I remember from the early 80s.
Yellow. We're going to start packing up, so it's okay. Yeah, but it's after 4.
Is it? Oh,
yeah. 3 minutes past 4 when I start.
We're just doing a video.
Oh, apologies. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
We're going to go now.
I didn't realise. Sorry, I'm rude. Sorry. Apologies.
Yeah, so as I was saying with the post office tram, which one, I think it was Royal Mail.
Royal Mail, yeah.
I always remember it being red, bottom,
red
yellow
brush
top,
line.
with like thin advertising signs on the roof. And it's one of those, as a kid, you always notice it kind of stood out.
Well, the advertising trams, I think, can sometimes make things more interesting.
Yeah.
What I don't personally like is when we were in the stage of having trams with all these adverts over the windows. And so when you're on the inside, it's like looking through a gauze. And it's just not nice.
They did that with
And we were promised that the new trams wouldn't have advertising on them at all. And now we've got at least 2 of them that have got all that advertising, including all over the window.
Yeah, that's true.
That's entirely engulfed in pink.
Yeah, that's
Pretty little things.
Pretty little things.
There's one that's advertising the Modern Two Swords, which looks very colourful.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I thought to myself, I wonder how long it's going to be before they have advertising on it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I think the ones on the windows actually sometimes put people off because they think that they can't see out the windows anyway.
No, I couldn't see out the
They
window.
get on the tram, so they might let one go by and wait for the next one.
It would be nice to see one of the flats done in sort of green cream style, just for nostalgia.
Well, I'm sure sooner or later that they
do
will,
it.
the colour schemes will probably change.
I mean, they've done it with some of the modern buses.
Yeah.
They've done it in sort of that nostalgic green and cream. So,
Well, on our old trams, we have it's not one of ours, it's owned by File Transport Trust, but one of the older late 1920s double-deck trams. They redid it in red and cream livery, which looks great. I mean, it was a livery that was used by Blackpool Transport in the late 20s for a few years, but predominantly people remember green and cream. But it looks great, and I was outside a hotel a couple of weeks ago when this one was out on test. And a couple of ladies came out of the hotel, and one said to the other, said, "Oh, look at this wonderful old tram coming along." And it was this red and cream.
I like the red and cream.
And it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
And we've got one of the boat trams, a single deck open one.
Oh, right.
And that's been repainted in red and cream for a few years now. And it's all part of making it more interesting now.
Oh, yeah.
So some of them have names on it. It's all about creating the interest because particularly children tend to notice
they love
those
them,
things.
don't
They
they?
say, "Oh, look, it's such and such a
Yeah.
tram."
It's like Charlie Crow.
Yeah, Charlie Crow.
It's the red and cream one. It's the
Charlie Crowley, yeah.
Yeah, it costs 600. It's been aged Dutch as the Cornwall.
Dutch is a Cornwall. And then the other green and cream one is George Foreman. But that's tucked away at the back of the depot, needing some electrical work done. But if we had the workforce and a bit more money to do it, it would be out. On a day like today, all the open trams we could possibly have should be out there earning money.
Yeah, I mean, I know that 600 was a prototype vehicle.
Yeah, it's lower size.
It's got the lower panels.
Slightly lower size.
So it was, where the others slightly higher.
Yeah, and the same. Similarly, the prototype of this, a balloon car, has got a much steeper front on it than the others. So it's a bit more confined for the driver, at least in its original state.
I think we're going to have a nice stroll. Anyway, it's nice talking to you.
Thank you very much.
I'm always pleased to talk to you.
You also probably having to do a vlog around the depot at some point in those ones.
Yeah. But it's very important we do keep these old trams in mind.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
So this is not talking from a tram enthusiast point of view. This is talking about the Blackpool tourism offer.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, really.
I think Blackpool wouldn't be Blackpool without these old
No, I don't think it would it? No.
So don't forget, come along to our depot tours. Have a look.
I've not been yet, Gary.
Because
Wink, wink.
those buildings may not be here for a lot longer.
No, that's true. Have you been, Gary?
I mean, been there once, 1 year. I think, in fact, I think he was doing the tour.
All right.
Yeah, doing on the Devil one. Yeah, so because they had a model tram shop in the paint compound, I think.
Oh right, yeah.
So I've been once before.
Well, the shop has improved a fair way since probably you came.
Yeah.
Well, it still wants further improvement, but you know, all these things always take 3 times as long as you expect to do.
Yeah, they do.
Well, anyway,
Well, thank you for talking
for
to
your
us.
interest.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
you from back.
Been on the balloon plant over there, just talking to one of the staff, and here is a Leyland 501 double decker with green and cream, in the similar livery to the Tram, though. Let's have a look inside. Beautiful. One of the bus tours we did was one like this, but it was all cream.
Yeah,
Green
all right,
village.
cheers.
I'll ask you the question and get back to you.
Right, hopefully that one, they reckon that they might be en route anyway.
Well, I've just asked the question and they're going to get back to me in a couple of minutes. So
Okay, that's fine.
I do know we normally use it for
It's really nice inside, isn't it?
Yeah, stuck me forward.
Yeah, hopefully the
Bit cooler on here, isn't it?
inspectors might be en
Can you imagine in summer, you're with the engine in front? You know,
Oh, it'd be warm.
it'd be really warm, so yeah. But in winter, it's not so bad because you're nice and cozy in there.
I know.
Yeah.
Was this the one we went on that bus day?
Well, it was like it.
It
The
looks
one
like
we went
winter.
on was all cream with green wheels
Oh,
arches.
right.
Yeah, but it was the same sort of bus.
Same kind, wasn't it?
But I think we saw one. I think I'm not sure it was the one that we saw parked up outside the chapel.
Oh, right, yeah. They were a
I
couple of
think it
Saturdays
was.
ago.
Yeah, it was parked on the tramway, picking up a wedding party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll say that it's been pretty good. I think the best highlight at all is seeing these parked up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A bit rather crowded down Townsend.
Too
That's why-
crowded, isn't
Too
it?
crowded to do much footage. Plus, there's a lot of music playing, so
Yeah.
we don't want to get copyrights. Got copyrighted, you know, because that's one thing we have to avoid.
Yeah.
That's what I think. So as most vloggers talk over to
Music.
keep going, and if they're doing this when we're not talking, they just put their own music over to well,
Nice pattern on the seats, isn't it?
see, it's very like the Tram, is it? There.
Yeah, same kind of pattern.
Yeah,
Is this the original colour?
this is one of the original seat colours. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it original colour though inside?
I think it's the original colour.
Yeah?
I love the interior.
I like the interior.
I'm not really too warm to go upstairs because this is probably the best part of the tour where you've got static vehicles. You know,
Yeah,
look
I
around,
know.
see how they look inside. And that way, but of course, it can be used as for a wedding hire. So if you don't want to hire a Rolls Royce, you want to party at people. I think Heritage Tram Tours is something what makes Blackpool what it is. There's like some old Ford Granadas there, and there's one there that's very similar to the one that was used in the Sweeney. You know? Right there. Yeah. Get your trousers on, you're nicked. Oh yeah. Used to just go speeding around corners. Yeah. Beautiful car. Yeah. Oh.
Red one, don't you?
Well, the red one's nice. Yeah. Classic cars. Okay. And down there. It's really busy here today.
Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
too busy, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I say, ward end, and then sit down.
Sit
Or
down
back.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, of course, that was the Tram Sunday event, and well, I hope you liked the video. Got some footage of some of the trams down the lighthouse, Ferrell's lighthouse. Anyway, hope you like the video. If you do, like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.